Welcome back to the Range Minded Podcast. Yeah, I did miss another week because I really fought hard with myself if I was going to talk about what I'm talking about in this episode. I don't know how long this episode's going to be. I went back and forth so many times thinking, do I even talk about this subject? Because it is getting hammered and hammered and hammered so much. But I think it's worth talking about for a few minutes anyways. And this will be the last time that I talk about the Charlie Kirk shooting, unless other information pops up from credible sources, from sources that we can fact check the best that we can anyways. And that's exactly what I wanted to share. You already know who Charlie Kirk is. You already know, unless you've been living under a rock, that he was assassinated on the 10th of September. None of that's new news at all. But you spend a few minutes on any social media platform, and you're going to see that there is so much misinformation, disinformation, or straight up lying about what happened that day. There's so many little conspiracy theories about where the shot came from, or if he was shot by one of his staff members. Like, it's just so much. And you need to understand the reason why there is so much information and causing confusion is somebody's encouraging this deliberately. That's my conspiracy theory. If we can muddy the waters, it's too hard to make the sense of what really happened. And there's also grifters and people looking to get as many clicks and likes and views on whatever posts they're making by coming up with some ridiculous idea about anything, particularly about the Charlie Kirk shooting. And anytime a tragedy like this happens, or some kind of scary event or something, you're going to get people trying to profiteer off of any wild claim that they can make up. So what I wanted to talk about, and I don't think I'm going to share everything that I was going to share. Otherwise, this would be like a 2-hour episode, and I know you guys do not want to watch 2 hours of me getting frustrated. The question was that I was trying to figure out what's real and what's crap. And I've spent all of last week researching this. I spent some time today watching a lot of videos and opinions and them sharing what they believe happened here or there on purpose, even the ones that are a little crazy, crazy kooky concepts out there. And the reason why I wanted to watch so much information is not to just cloud my judgment, which I hope I'm not doing. I don't think I am. But in my opinion, where, if you get a bunch of people talking and when they say the same thing, when they're all coming to the same assessment about certain parts of the story, chances are that that's true. And just imagine that guy on, was it Always Sunny in Philadelphia or whatever, the image of the dude pointing at the board with all the red strings coming to a conclusion. That's kind of the same concept, at least it is in my mind, my finite brain. That is, if I can collect as much information as possible, sooner or later, wherever those stories line up, I think it's a segment of truth. So I'm trying to get as much information as possible from sources that I think are pro-Charlie anyways. But then I have to verify that information by actual press conferences, whether it be from Governor Cox or from the Utah County prosecuting attorney, or the FBI, which, whether we believe the FBI in their press conferences or not, anywhere, and I'm going to call those official sources, okay? Because they're where this information starts. They're the head of the river. So I'm trying to correlate from what I'm watching these other videos and other commentaries on what's going on, balancing them with the information that we're getting from the officials in the story, and really trying to dissect what's going down. Now, I'm not going to make this video saying I think that Charlie was standing or sitting at this position with his posture this way, and the bullet came down at exactly 8.6 degrees from 406 feet away. I'm not going to go through that. That's not what I want to talk about. I want to talk about finding the correct sources. And again, I don't know if I'm necessarily going to cite all the places I went, because if I can find them, you can find them. But you need to go to Governor Cox's press releases. If you can find anything on the FBI's website, I had a really hard time finding that. I had to dig a little bit deeper on the FBI's website. And when it came to Utah County information, that was a little bit hard to sift through. Eventually, I did find some official press releases that created the narrative that I think, well, at least what they want us to hear, their official story. Now, there is so much shit on particularly Twitter, but even YouTube. We're getting military veterans, which, yeah, they have a little bit more credibility than 90% of the other people trying to spew their ballistics expertise and their sniper expertise. Most of these people have never even shot a rifle in their lives, but apparently they know so much more. Or people that claim to understand ballistics of a 30-06 when we don't even know the grain weight, the bullet structure. Like, we don't know any of that information. We don't know what was shot out of that 30-06. And honestly, we don't even know if the pictures of the rifle that were shared are officially the rifle that he used. Like, we don't know that information. The FBI, as far as I'm aware, has not said this is the rifle that was used. They did have a picture of a sporterized Mauser, not a Remington 700. You can tell by looking at the back of the action, the way the safety is built. I know the picture's not perfectly clear, but from my assessment, from looking at it, it looks like a sporterized Mauser, but the action doesn't look like a 30-06 action. It looks a little bit smaller. I could be wrong. Another thing we're hearing is the screwdriver on the roof, or how he even got the rifle to the roof. I think, in my opinion, you're just going to hear my opinion for a second here. I do believe that he had the rifle disassembled, meaning the action from the stock. I think he had the scope and the barrel down his pants and his right leg, and maybe he had cut the stock short or something to fit in his backpack. Somehow he had, I don't think the whole rifle with the stock was shoved down his pants. I don't see how that would be possible. But then I think once he was on the roof, he assembled the rifle with a screwdriver. And do you know what? Let's talk about something real quick with that stupid screwdriver story, because you're going to hear, well, he needs a screwdriver and an Allen wrench to put the action back on the rifle. That might be true, but they make these combination screwdrivers where you can get multiple ends and put them in there, and with one screwdriver he could have multiple bits to do whatever business he needed to do with. So I think that's a non sequitur. I think that's a stupid argument. I don't think he disassembled the rifle. I think we do see the rifle in the video of him jumping off the roof wrapped in the towel. I think if you look closely, you can see something that appears to be wrapped in a black towel or black cloth, whatever it may be. Now, there's parts of the story, that the official narrative, that don't make sense. I don't have anything to say on that. But in order for us to get through all the experts on social media, I think it's important that we actually look at the official press releases. If you actually go through them, you're going to see that they did find connections with his boyfriend being trans. You're going to find that he was radicalized online, Those are, you're going to hear all over the internet or see in several places anyways that I think ABC News actually posted a story saying that there's no connection with the shooter and any kind of trans ideology or indoctrination to violent extremism, when the FBI said, yeah, it's official that he did. When the prosecuting attorney for Utah County said, yeah, this is what happened. So I guess what I'm saying when it comes to this whole vast, confusing time is don't just believe, don't even believe me. Don't just take things for face value. Dig into, write down the questions that you have. Look, make a stinking spreadsheet or whatever, and then go through all the sources that you can find that answer whatever questions you might have or the claims that people are making. Compile that information and then just judge for yourself, because it's obvious that all these experts, a vast majority of them, don't know jack. They can have all the great credentials in the world, but it doesn't mean they have all the answers. Today, as of the 22nd of September, that now the bullet is becoming a bigger issue. Again, we don't know for sure. I know that the FBI said it was a 30-06, but do we know what it was for sure? I guess we can assume as long as that rifle was being used, it was a 30-06. Okay, let's just go with that narrative. But do we know what bullet it was? Was it partitioned? Was it full metal jacket? Like, what was it? What was the grain weight? What was the powder weight, or the charge in the cartridge? All these things add up, and they change the trajectory and where it's going to impact downrange. I don't care what kind of an expert you are. You could be the greatest sniper in the world. If you have no clue of what cartridge was used, what what grain weight and type of bullet that is, you don't have the answer. You don't. I don't care who you are, because a lot of that changes downrange experience on the target. That's just the way it is. You don't have to believe me, and that's fine. I've been in the 2A space professionally since 2016. That's fine. You don't have to believe me. But maybe there's a little bit more to what's going on than what the experts are saying. Now, they're saying that the bullet that Charlie Kirk's spine was like, his bones were like Superman, right? They're the man of steel. According to some sources, again, I can't verify this because we don't know 100%, but there's some sources that I tend to trust a little bit more than others. Apparently, Alex Jones today, he released in his show today, he said he talked to, I don't know if it was the medical examiner. I only saw a snippet of what he was talking about. But again, these sources that I were watching are very credible sources that I consider credible anyways, playing an excerpt from his show, saying that he talked to the doctor or the medical examiner or some kind of professional that deals with gunshot wounds, that as the bullet entered the neck, it hit skeletal structure, which we do know from other people that were there saying that it was instant. In fact, I think Erica Kirk said something about it severed the spine and everything was rather quickly, which correlates with what Alex Jones was saying, that the bullet hit the spine, but then it deviated. Now, that is a large cartridge. A 30-06 has got a lot of oomph. But again, we don't know what kind of bullet it was. Miracles do happen. The doctor said several times that it was a miracle that it didn't pass through and hit somebody behind him. Listen, if God's involved, anything can happen. I don't know. I can only take the information that I have and say, okay, that's what we got right now. I have a really difficult time thinking that the shooter was from Charlie's right. I guess this would be his right. Oh, excuse me. You see, there's lots of videos of the flash in the window at the exact same time at the gunshot. I don't know. I don't even know if those windows open. Nobody has gone there and said, yeah, this window opens, or this window was broken and it was replaced. We don't know. So I tend to not really agree with those sources. There's the one of the guy pulling on his sleeve that apparently has this palm gun. Well, there's no sights on it because he's got it in his palm, and apparently it's tucked up in his sleeve. You're telling me that it was that accurate that he could just guess by pointing his shoulder towards Charlie Kirk and squeezing a 22 caliber, because as far as I know, they don't make them in anything, well, maybe 25. They might have one in 25 caliber, but I doubt they have one in 30 caliber. I could be wrong. But even then, that barrel's so short, and the recoil will be so high on a little palm pistol like that, that the dude would at least move his hand even more. But I highly doubt there'd be a lot of energy coming out of something like that to cause serious damage. I could be wrong there too. I have never shot one of those little palm squeeze gun things, which I don't think was used. And then now we're hearing about this trap door, which is what the groundkeepers use to take care of the sprinklers. But apparently he was shot from a trap door. He was on top of a platform on top of the door. The door couldn't have opened. I don't think that's going to happen unless they're saying, well, when he fell down, they switched bodies. And really? I don't think so. I could be wrong. Just don't take things for face value. There's too much junk out there, and there's going to be continuing more and more junk out there because the FBI isn't going to release a lot of this information. We're not going to know everything. And there's a lot we won't know until his trial, which does that start the end of this month? I'm not even 100% sure when that happens. Or his first court appearance is the end of this month. But even then, we're not going to know. The state is not going to just dump all their evidence out on social media for everybody to see. That would be reckless, and man, the state's just not going to do that. The federal government is not just going to barf out all the information up front. So again, there's a lot of information we're never going to see. And there's a lot that we won't see for months or years. And that's just the way it is. I don't have all the answers. I don't claim to have all the answers. And I'm not the expert like everybody else claims to be the expert, even though I just said I've been in the industry since 2016. Doesn't matter. I know a lot of stuff. I'm not a ballistics. I don't work in the crime lab in the ballistics department. So take that for what it's worth. It's a confusing time. It's a really frustrating time. And people just want answers. And because people want answers, other people are happy to create answers by any means possible. And most of those, if not all but save a few, are going to be wrong. So I guess what I'm saying when it comes to that is slow down. Read it, watch it, that's fine. But then really think about what are the odds of that happening. Balance it off other stuff that has been corroborated. I guess nothing's been corroborated yet. But at least go to the official sources. At the bare minimum. I don't know. Like I say, there's a lot of strange things adding up. We got people like Candace Owens and Ian, what's his name? Like there's so much out there. Some of it might be true. Most of it probably isn't. It's tough. It's tough. Use your gut. You know, sometimes the gut instincts end up being the right ones. So just use your best judgment. It's so frustrating. That's it. That's the last time I'm going to talk about this. Unless something else changes. Don't believe everything you see. 99% of it's trash. It's a lie, and it's meant to deceive you, and for you to have some kind of an emotional reaction and make some stupid post on Twitter. Just don't play the game. Don't play the game. In fact, here's something that you might want to consider. Maybe just take like a 3-day fast off of social media just to kind of reset. It's probably worth it. I had to do that a few days ago. It's probably worth it. On a side note to that, I know I just said I was going to stop talking about this. On a side note, Steven Crowder just in his live stream today, which I tend to listen to a lot of what Steven Crowder says because he fact checks a lot of stuff and he shares the resources. Like he just shows you where he got the information from. That's why I tend to like Steven Crowder. I know you can hate him if you want. A lot of people do. That's totally cool. But if you jump on his videos that he posted and his website, he went through a lot of things things we know, things that are speculative, and kind of broke those down on a whiteboard. It's probably worth a watch. And for the record, I was thinking about doing this last week before he published his video. So this has nothing to do with anything that he said or didn't say. So there's that. Since we're on the topic of Charlie Kirk, I'm not going to talk about the assassination stuff. I know that the memorial service was like 5 hours long. I watched a couple hours of it, the last couple of hours. Whether you're a Christian or not, a God-fearing individual or not, that was one of the most amazing things I've seen in a very long time. RFK spoke, gave a great speech. Marco Rubio's speech was pretty amazing, but nothing greater than Erica Kirk's speech where she forgave the shooter. How difficult would that have to be? To be in front of millions of people. And she had to have known. I mean, there was like 70,000 people just in that stadium. And then there was like another 100,000 in the parking lot listening. And then there was another overflow stadium. I think there was like 20 to 40,000 in that stadium. There was over 100 million streamers or streaming requests or whatever. Like there was people watching all over the world. And for her to get up there and forgive the man that shot her husband, that took him away from her. I don't care who you are. That's pretty epic. Again, if you don't believe in God, that's fine. You can look at that situation and say, wow, that's pretty amazing of her. But if you do believe in God and the redeeming power of Jesus Christ, that takes a lot of courage to forgive a man that killed your husband. If you haven't watched that speech, you need to. You need to watch the whole memorial service. I think that was a pretty pivotal moment in American history. When you watch it, you'll see why. If you had watched it, I'm curious to see what you guys thought. I know I'm not the only one that felt that way about it, but if you watched it, what did you guys think? I'm really curious about what you guys felt or thought about watching that whole memorial service. To me, it was pretty amazing. What's happening? It's Steve with the Range Minded Podcast, and I'm here to share with you a goal that I have for 2025. Now, I've been doing the podcast now since 2018. That's a long time. But it's been kind of a lull as far as people actually subscribing to the show. So I set a goal for this year to hit 1,000 subscribers on each of my YouTube and my Rumble channel. Now, a lot of you people already follow me on Twitter or Instagram or Facebook or even TikTok. But very few of you guys actually follow me on where you can watch the show. So do me a favor. As soon as this video is over, jump over to the YouTube channel, jump over to the Rumble channel, and hit subscribe. That would mean the world to me. It may not be much to you, but it is a lot to me. Help me achieve my goal of 1,000 subs this year, and all your wildest dreams will come true. There might be some kind of a disclaimer after that, but you get the point. Anyways, thanks, guys. Take somebody shooting, and as always, stay range-minded. See ya. You know, I was going to talk about what a list of like the top 5 concealed carry guns under a certain criteria. I don't think I'm going to. I'll save that for a later show. I think this is good. The world is a crazy, crazy place right now. It's designed, is what it seems, to confuse us and to generate hate and divide us in a lot of different ways. What we saw from that Charlie Kirk memorial yesterday was unity. Was people reaching across an aisle and building off common beliefs, which is exactly what the extremes, whether it be left or right, don't want. They don't want us to unite because we have far more power than we even understand. Far more. And when we stand up and we make the American people heard, our unified voice, left and right, building off the common beliefs of what this country was founded on, not the rhetoric, not the deceit, not the hate, not the violence, but common belief. That's where we win. You see, you don't realize how important your voice is. Charlie Kirk, when he was asked or told how amazing and important he is, he said, "No, I'm just a guy." We all feel that way. He spoke for millions of Americans. Millions. And now, millions of Americans can take that same courage and speak up for ourselves. It's our turn. He showed us how to do it. I know there is a plethora of hate about Charlie Kirk. There's all these short videos on TikTok, on X, on Instagram about how terrible of a person he was, and they take just a segment of his conversation to try and justify hate and violence. Do me a favor. If you're falling into the camp of like, oh, Charlie Kirk was a racist, go to that Jubilee episode where he was on there. Watch the entire show. Don't think about your opinion. Don't pause and argue. Just listen. Just listen. Find some of his debates on other college campuses and listen to how he talked to people. You're going to realize that the people that are pushing the garbage to convince you how bad of a person he was is to keep you repressed. They don't want you to know the truth because the truth gives you power. And if you have power, they don't. This country is designed for the American citizen to have the power, not the government, not some oligarchy, not the far right or far left extremes, but the citizen. Charlie Kirk was teaching us how to be a citizen, to bring that mindset back. Go watch those. If you think Charlie is an evil person, tell me why. Go ahead. You can just bombard my comments too. It doesn't matter to me. Because I'm going to speak up. Freedom is far more important than safety. Because when we are free, we can keep ourselves safe. We don't need the government to keep us safe. We can keep ourselves safe. The government has its position to run the military and to keep the whole country as a whole and safe. But they don't know how to keep you and me as individuals and our families safe. They don't know how. They screw it up every time. That's what the message was. And we can do it. You can do it. You have the power and the ability to stand up and speak. That's it. Courage isn't difficult. It can be scary, but it's not really hard. You can do it. That right there, just the importance of acting. And I don't mean like character acting, but doing something. The point of action, the meaning of doing something, to act. That's the key. That is why I say take people shooting. Because when they experience safe use of firearms, when they understand how the laws are actually written and how things are actually controlled, we win. They win. And whoever is trying to keep that power loses a little bit more of that power. And it comes back to the citizens where it belongs. We can't wait around any longer. We can't. Every time we fall into these traps of hatred with each other, a little more of our power is gone. A little more love is shed off of society and replaced with hate and violence. There's a cut in the edit right there because my camera shut off. And I don't know how long I was talking. So yeah. I guess what it boils down to is be a good citizen. Take somebody shooting. Enjoy your rights and share that love of freedom with other people. We can do this. We can get together. We can make it happen. We can make this country a safer and more free place to live. A lot of that starts with opening your mouth and saying something. You guys are awesome. You guys are rad. I'm going to end this video here before something happens again and my video camera shuts off one more time and I talk for who knows how long. Stay safe. Take somebody shooting. Open your mouth. Have the courage to speak. You got this. Stay safe. It is not the critic who counts. Not the man who points out where the strong man stumbles, or where the doer of the deeds could have done them better. The credit belongs to the man who is actually in the arena, whose face is marred with dust and sweat and blood, who strives valiantly, who errs, who comes short again and again. Because there is no effort without error and shortcoming. But who does actually strive to do the deeds? Who knows great enthusiasms, the great devotions? Who spends himself on a worthy cause? Who at best knows the end, the triumph of high achievement? And who at the worst, if he fails, at least he fails while daring greatly, so that his place shall never be with those cold and timid souls who neither know victory nor defeat. Theodore Roosevelt.